Cheugy is the hashtag blessed. It's a big straw hat on a social media friendly beach, and it's any Instagram caption containing Taylor Swift lyrics. It's a word that describes the things that Generation Z finds embarrassing about millennials. To be cheugy is to be uncool, outdated, and trying too hard. It's a funny word, really. I'm having a hard time trying to sound serious while I'm saying the word cheugy over and over again, but it's also a word that fits some of the sad parts of the millennial experience into two absurd syllables. Cheugy contains both the comedy of millennial kitsch, the cheesiness of so many things that were popular around 2013, and the slow, uncool tragedy of a generation shaped by recessions and a collapsing middle class. What, exactly, can a group of underemployed, deeply in debt people do when they're too old to be interesting and too young to be respected? The answer, apparently, is be cheugy.
Okay, it's the opposite of trendy, stylish in middle school and high school, maybe, maybe not.
In spring 2021, a TikToker from Los Angeles shared this.
People will say things like, this is millennial, or girl boss energy. The word, my friends, is cheugy, okay?
The word made it to the New York Times in an article that lists the following as classically cheugy: millennial girl boss energy, any clothing or decorations with chevron print, and, according to the woman who posted the famous TikTok video, one of my friends said, lasagna is cheugy.
Stir and serve, one-pan lasagna.
Early artifacts of cheugy scholarship talk about only stereotypically feminine things, but the creators of the word say that it can apply to all genders. The important part, according to both the New York Times and Urban Dictionary, is trying too hard. Trying too hard is the essence of cheugy, and it's easy to see how that can be funny. There's a lot of comedy potential in watching someone try too hard and take themselves way too seriously, which is a thing that I have to admit many millennials do.
I think that I may be the voice of my generation, or at least a voice.
Plenty of things that fall under the cheugy label do, in fact, deserve to be made fun of. See, for example, the selfie stick, and all jokes involving the word adulting. My spell check keeps correcting the word cheugy to cheesy, and I gotta admit, the computer has a point. There is a cheesiness to a lot of millennial pop culture. I mean, we popularized the word doggo, and we brought back the romper for adults because what grown-ups really need from fashion is to look like toddlers. Rest in peace, Romp Him, a real company that really existed because millennials are really good at producing unintentional comedy. The comedy of millennial culture, both in its cheesiness and how painfully hard it tries, was beautifully summarized in the phrase premium mediocre, which comes from a 2017 blog post by Venkatesh Rao. Here's what he means by that phrase. Premium mediocre is food that Instagrams better than it tastes. Premium mediocre is Starbucks Italian names for drink sizes, and its original pumpkin spice lattes featuring a staggering absence of pumpkin. But it's not just for things, it can describe people. Rao wrote that the demographic at the heart of the phenomenon was millennials. The rent over own, everything as a service class of precarious young professionals auditioning for a shot at the neo-urban American dream. To be premium mediocre as a person means not applying, but auditioning for a job that pays a living wage. It means creating an image of the happy hustler, trying hard and living the dream as if living the dream were working 3 jobs and living with 3 roommates. Premium because it's a luxury that you can't afford, and mediocre because it's something that people used to think of as ordinary, a shot at a middle-class life. The full title of that article is The Premium Mediocre Life of Maya Millennial. Maya Millennial is the trying too hard spirit of my generation, struggling through the gig economy, doing her best, and calling herself blessed. Maya Millennial is a character who would be laughed at for being ridiculously cheugy if she were real in 2021. I can picture her posting inspirational quotes to Instagram on the train ride home from her unpaid internship, or eating lasagna, which is forbidden now for reasons I still don't understand. But Rao has a lot of compassion for her, both for her uncool tastes and her unstable life, and now we are getting to the sad part of the story. Why would anyone buy anything that fits under the label of premium mediocre? The article talks about some profoundly dismal examples, like the finest bottle of wine at Olive Garden.
We're all family here.
The question of why premium mediocre has an answer with many parts, starting with, it's the nicest thing we can afford. And sometimes you want a little bit of luxury to distract yourself from your future. The future looks pretty bad for millennials. A 2019 paper by an economist at the United States Census Bureau said that the generation's earnings never recovered from the 2008 recession. We carry a staggering amount of student debt, and we will almost certainly be the first generation in modern American history who dies poorer than our parents. And our parents are the whole reason why any of this silliness happens in the first place. Rao kindly observes that a lot of what looks like premium mediocrity isn't actually done because millennials like it. It's an act that we're putting on to reassure our parents. He wrote, "Premium mediocrity is in part a theater put on by my millennial, in part to spare the feelings of parents. Even though there is a lot of cultural argument between millennials and baby boomers, they are still our moms and our dads. Not all of us have happy nuclear families, of course, but for most of us, there's still someone out there who we don't want to worry about us, even though, statistically speaking, they should. And so we buy the best meal we can afford, take a picture of it, and share it so mom and or dad don't think we're going hungry. We go on pretty vacations to have a little taste of what life is supposed to be like in retirement, because the news tells us that we will never really retire. And we take pictures of those nice vacations to reassure our families that, hey, look, I'm having a nice time. Don't feel bad for me." I imagine all of that performance seems ridiculous to younger people. It is ridiculous. I'm not going to get mad at Zoomers for making fun of millennials on TikTok, because the young making fun of the old is a classic part of the intergenerational conversation.
Instagram captions like these, Cheugy.
I'm just grateful that someone looked at all of the things that Generation Z finds as ridiculous about millennials and recognized that those things have a redeeming quality. As Venkatesh Rao wrote in The Premium Mediocre Life of My Millennial, at the heart of premium mediocrity there is a deep and essential kindness. Kindness towards parents, kindness towards those unlike you in every way. At least sometimes, other generations see that there's kindness behind all the corniness. Because you see, the most generous thing I've ever read about millennials is not actually by a millennial. Are you surprised? Because I was surprised. Rao is a member of Generation X, and he writes about people my age with the wisdom and compassion of a loving older brother. Maybe that's the way neighboring generations are supposed to work. Your younger sibling laughs at you and teaches you to take yourself less seriously, and your older sibling recognizes the struggles that you've gone through and teaches you to be kinder to yourself. It's okay to be cheugy because it's nearly impossible to stay fashionable forever. Every generation will one day become uncool. But the important part to me is that some people will remember millennials not as the coolest generation, but as one that tried very, very hard to be kind.